Alright, welcome to Shabil Uganda e-learning. My name is Nelson, and we are going to be looking more on fractions as we gave out our breakdown of this topic. So we have looked at a variety of these fractions. So we shall now be looking more about what we call reducing fractions. How do we call these reducing fractions? It is a method that we shall use for us to be finding how these fractions are. So let's get started about these reducing fractions. In reducing fractions, we look out at a fraction which is given, then we use out a method. Okay, we use out a method that is going to help us in finding these reducing fractions. Okay. So in these reducing fractions, we shall have these examples as given. We shall have these examples as given. Let me get a pen here. So these are the examples. They are saying reduce 2 out of 8 to its simplest form. How can you reduce this to its simplest form? It is also still using a method of equivalence. This simply means that what we shall reduce here shall still be equal to our 12 out of what? Our 12 out of 18. So here we use a variety of methods. One, we can use a factor tree method. A factor tree method for us to find our reducing what? Reducing fractions. So how does this factor tree method look like? How does this factor tree method of ours look like? Okay, so in elaborating more about this, we are saying we are going to use our factor what? Factor tree method. So in this method we get our figure which is given, that is 12 out of 18. Then we shall now be able to come up with our 12 and our 18 here. Then we look out for a common factor which can divide it 2, which can divide our number which is 12. We use a 2. So when we use a 2 here we get a 6. Also here, what is 6 divided by 2? Shall still get our 3. We say by 3 here we get 1. Also here we look out for another factor. Shall still use a 2. When we use a 2 we are going to get our 9. Then which number can we divide by 9? We get no remainder. We can use our 3. When we use our 3 we get our answer as what? Our answer is 3. Also when divide 3 divided by 3 we get 1. So now how do we derive out our number from here? Remember here we have what we call a couple of set, and also here we have a couple of what? Couple of set. So here we shall now be able to take one figure in the what? In our set which we are having, can take our 2. Then here we shall also take our one figure which is 3. So this simply means that using this method we shall have come up with our reducing what? Our reducing figure. So another method we are using was this. You get our 12 out of 18 as it is written. Then you keep dividing each by what? By a common factor. Okay, each is divided by what? By a common factor which is a 2. You keep getting answers. So when you divide 12 by 2 we shall get our 6, simply meaning that also when you divide this by 2 we shall still get our 9. Okay, so now when we divide the 9 by this, we still look out for another factor which can divide our 6 which is a 3. So when you divide this by 3, okay, when you also divide all of them now by 3, we shall be able to get this is our 2 out of 3. So all this method we can apply them. All this method can be applied to derive us to the correct what? The correct answer. Okay, let's also dive into some more example or activities that has been given. So they are saying our activity here, reduce 10 out of 5 out of 10. That is our part B. Our part that is our part A. Then our part B, they are telling us to reduce 8 out of 10. Okay, let's start one by one, see how we complete them. We have 5 out of 10 as our part what? Part A. Our part A is 5 out of 10. Okay, this is our what? This is our part A. They want us to reduce out this number. Which method should we use? Which method should we use? Okay, let's use this 5 out of 10. We'll look out for the number that can divide all of them, which is 5. Also 10 divided by what? Divided by 5. What do we get here? We get 1 out of 2. Okay, so here I've been able to get our 1 out of what? 1 out of 2. So this is now going to be our what? Our method that we can use to find. Let's also find out how we can get our part what? Our part B. Our part B is what? 8 out of 10. We are having our 8 out of 10. Our part B is 8 out of 10. We have our 8 out of 10. Then we also look out for a factor that can divide all of them. Which factor can divide 8 and 10? We have a 2. Also here we have a 2. So when divide 8 divided by 2, we can get 4 here. 10 divided by 2 can get our 5. Okay, so now here we have been able to get 4 out of 5. Here we can no longer divide it more because we don't have a common factor that can divide our 4 and 5. So we leave it at this stage. Then also look at our other what? Our other number. We have a 2 out of 6. Part C. Our part C, we have a 2 out of 6. Which other factor can we use? It is just a 2 by 2. Okay, so here we can say 2 out of 6. Our factor we shall use a 2. Also here divided by 2. So here 2 divided by 2 shall come up with a 1 out of 3. So we also still leave it there because there is no any other factor can divide by 1 and a 3. Okay, then we shall also look at this other question which is asked. Can look at which one. Okay, part D, we have 4 out of 16. 4 out of what? 4 out of 16. Let's get somewhere to write very well here. We have our 4 out of 16. Then we use our same factor which is a 2. So here we get our 2 out of what? 2 out of 8. We still divide this by 2 because our 2 can divide the 2 and 8. Then here we shall still come up with our 1 out of 4. This is going to be our what? Our answer. Then also let's look at another number of ours. Okay, another number which is given, which is part E, 6 out of 16. 6 out of 16. Have our 6 out of 16. Okay, let's use another method and we see. When you have our 6 here and we have our 16 here, we are using a factor tree method. You can use our 2 here, and here 3. Then here we shall use a 3. Then you get 1. Also here we can use a factor tree method by 2. This is 8. Okay, by 2 here, this is 4. Here we have by 2, shall also still get what? Shall also still get our 2. Then by 2 we get 1. So now we have here our factors. Shall have our factor here as, remember here we have our 2 pairs, okay, our 2 pairs here. Then also using this other method of ours, which is a 6 by what, 6 by 16. We said we are going to use our factor 2, factor 2. Then here also use our factor 2 also. So here we shall get our 3 out of 8. Okay, what do we get here? What do we get? 3 out of 8. 3 out of what? 3 out of 8. So which factor can we get to divide the 3 and 8? It is not there. Okay, so now when you look at this method, we shall be able to pick out our 3, okay, our last figure, which is a 3. Then here we pick since there are 2 sets in a multiplication form, we remember picking a number from here, one number from each set, and we multiply it by one another. Okay, so here now we shall be able to stop from here, and we conclude that our answer is going to be equal to our 3 out of what? Out of 8. We shall have reduced our number, which is the same when multiply our 2 times 2. Okay, 2 times 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what is 2 to the power 4? Okay, so we shall be able to stop out from there and see how do we deal with another number. Okay, so another number was what? Another number was what? Another number, part of our exercise. Okay, we had was 9 out of 12. 9 out of 12. Okay, let's do our 8 out of 18. The rest we shall be able to practice, and you send on your Google Classroom. Okay. We have our 8 out of 18. So we shall still use our method. Divide this by 2. Also divide this by 2. We shall be able to come up with our 4 out of 8 by 2. And also here when divide it by 2, shall be able to come up with our 2 out of 4. Can we still divide this? Yeah, we have a 2. So we can say our 2 out of 4 divided by 2, also divided by 2. So we shall come up with a 1 out of 2. So this is further advanced more than this one. Alright, this is a method that we can use for us when they want to ask question about reducing what? Reducing fractions. It is simple to practice. Please be able to look out and understand the concept for you to come up with the correct answer. For this, I do say thank you very much for being part of this this lesson. God bless you. However, don't forget to check out on the playlist because we are arranging these lessons in a format that one is building on one another. Stay blessed. Have a nice moment.